Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I hope you can hear the music because I sure as heck cannot. Welcome to Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans. But then again, we'll get to that here in just a second. Hello, Don Ledger. Hello, I'm glad that you are here. Hello, Darla Stewart Bennett. Hello, Carolyn Gregg Ledger. How you guys doing? We are back in the studio. It is good to be home. So, I don't know how many days I was gone, but it was a lot of days. So, toggling the NCAA. Uh-oh, something's happening in the NCAA. I think that's, I think that's going to be the Final Four. Who you rooting for there, Darla? All right, we ready to do this? All right, let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome back. It is good to be back in the studio. I'm telling you what, I've got the equipment that I need. I've got the lights that I need. I've got the camera, the background, everything. I've got a good internet connection. So thank you very much for being with me and hanging in there. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it through my trip. Just want to let you know it's good to have Captain America and Iron Man and Black Widow and all of those characters behind me. And what I did on the road is I was using an iPad, but now it's good to be back home. I'll be home for a little while, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out a way to get this show produced when I'm out there on the road. So, without further ado, welcome to the big show, everybody. I hope you are... I forgot how to open the show. Welcome to Mickey in the Middle, the quintessential show for Middle Americans, where all Middle Americans are welcome. It doesn't matter where you've been. It doesn't matter where you go. It only matters that you're here with us tonight, discussing the things that affect every single Middle American throughout our country. And if you are part of Middle America, even if you don't think that you're part of Middle America, you actually are part of Middle America. There's no such thing as somebody who's not a Middle American. It doesn't matter what race, what demographic, it doesn't matter how you define yourself. It doesn't matter any of that stuff. What does matter is the simple fact that you are here with us tonight, and I cannot tell you how much I personally appreciate the fact that you are part of Middle America. It really is fantastic. So what I want to do is I wanted to show you guys a couple of things that I had going. Get up there. All right, that I had going earlier this. All right, I'm getting there. So, what happened was, the simple fact of the matter is that I went on a trip, and I went to look at America. So the name of the shows while I was on the road was Mickey in the Middle America. And I purposely named it that because not Mickey is in the middle of America, but Mickey in the middle, America, Middle America. I thought it was a catchy play on words. But while I was out there, I started noticing a couple of things, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm kind of disconnected from Middle America when I sit in Cabot, Arkansas, in my house, which is pretty nice. And I drive around in my pretty nice cars. And, I've worked hard. That's one of the things, and it's one of the things that you will hear from the baby boomers. I'm a baby boomer, right? So my dad was born in 1933. I was born in 1962, 33, 43, 53, 63. So he was 29 when I came about. I was right at the end of the baby boomer era. So my dad was not in World War II because the baby boomers was kind of like defined to end right in the middle of 1962. And then, millennials? No, Gen X. And then Gen X was raised by the baby boomers. And there's a vast difference in the greatest generation, which was World War I, World War II, the baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, Gen Y, I don't know, the nons. I think that they're called the nons now, that there's a new thing. And I talked a little bit about this the other night. But when I went out into the world, I realized that the world is exactly the same now as it always has been. Frederick Douglass was one of the greatest figures in American history. And he was a former slave, but when he was released, he became prominent because he only wanted one thing. And I'm reading the book, The President and the Freedom Fighter. I'm reading that book right now. I'm not very far into it, but I do know one thing about Frederick Douglass. And Frederick Douglass only wanted one thing. Frederick Douglass wanted America to live up to the words that were written in the Constitution. That's all that Frederick Douglass wanted. And when you combine the ideas of Frederick Douglass with the ideas of Martin Luther King Jr. Oh, by the way, this is the anniversary of the death of Martin Luther King Jr. Sad. It's very, very sad. So, a moment of silence for Martin Luther King Jr. He was a great human being that did great things for our country. So if you take Frederick Douglass, and Frederick Douglass is not the person that came up with the idea of the Constitution of the United States. Frederick Douglass was a former slave who basically said, you wrote it, so I'm going to make you live up to it. That's the idea behind Frederick Douglass. Then Martin Luther King Jr. came around. And when Martin Luther King Jr. came around, he said, listen, I want people to be judged on their character because all of us are equal. And that is a pretty stellar concept as well. It's like, do not judge people by the skin color that they have, by immutable characteristics. Judge each individual by their actions and by their character. So when you combine those two very powerful ideas, and by the way, Martin Luther King was not the person that came up with that either. But he just put it the most eloquent in terms of making race relations in the United States of America better. Because you got to remember, prior to 1965, the National Voters' Rights Act was not passed in the United States of America. Not everybody could vote in the country. So it was very, very important in the 1960s that the concepts of the Constitution of the United States of America and the concepts of Martin Luther King Jr. and Frederick Douglass all came together inside of that realm. And when I was traveling around, I started noticing things. And like I said, I don't get out very often. And the reason... because I'm a stick in the mud, right? So I know a lot of things, and I go and do a lot of things. And the simple fact of the matter is, Don Ledger, I'm overmodulated. God damn it. Again. I can't hear myself. I don't have any feedback. I am so sorry. I tried to even this out. Apparently it didn't. Reading advanced audio properties. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. Blue Nano mic. Hold on just a second. Filters, compressors, open, gate compression, threshold attack, noise gate. No. All right, hold on just a second. No, I'm not going to be able to fix it. Damn it, I thought that this was right. I'm very sorry, Don. I'm very sorry, everybody. I will try to fix this again tonight. Man, it was perfect. And then I had to dump everything. So, all right. So, anyway, back to the whole idea. While I was traveling, while I was traveling, one of the things that took me back was we are still not a unified country. We are desegregated, and we still live on opposite sides of the city as people. When I was down in Lafayette, Louisiana, you had neighborhoods that can be defined by the color of the people's skin that lived there. Now, there was all kinds of relations between the demographics that were down there. And it was a good thing. But there was definitely businesses that belonged to different racially, ethnic groups on opposite sides of the city. And you could tell that when you were cruising through the city, you could go, hey, this is a different lifestyle than the folks that are over there. So Sony Johnson, who is a radio, TV, nationally syndicated broadcaster, talks about this on her radio show all the time. She was talking about the acceptance of people that are different into a community, whether it's white into black or white into Hispanic or black into Hispanic or Hispanic into Muslim or Hispanic into white culture or whatever. And that we divide ourselves along those lines, and we're not always accepting of the people that are differently, that are different than us, either different looking or have a different culture and everything like that. And one of the things that I noticed in her show was the continuing theme of is that when people are just living their lives, we do a pretty good job of living our lives in an integrated fashion. However, what we don't do is we have not yet gotten to the point where everybody lives everywhere and everybody goes in all different kinds of businesses. Now, I didn't know this until I didn't realize this until I went on the road. And in my journeys, it was absolutely awesome to see that I went into many places for business that were minority-owned businesses, and I'm not talking small businesses, I'm talking very large businesses that were obviously doing millions of dollars worth of business all the time. And where these businesses were located were in the center of towns or in the center of businesses. And I had not noticed this before, but the simple fact of the matter is that I don't know whether I was looking for it before or whether it wasn't there. Because if you, as an American, start a business in our country, you're allowed to put that business anywhere that you want to put it. It can be in the middle of downtown. Nobody can turn you down if you bring money to the table and you want to go buy a property. You can, but that used to be the way it used to be. Banks used to be able to regulate that. Banks used to have red lines where they went, hey, look here, we're not going to loan money inside of this area, or we're not going to loan money to this group of people. The simple fact of the matter is when I went out, public policy has changed in the United States of America to allow the full integration of businesses and people throughout. But yet, when I went out there and I observed this phenomenon, I still noticed that there was a distinct separation between races and demographics that were out there in the country. And one of the things that I don't want to do is I don't want to say that we're a fixed country. I have so many people that are in my life that I really don't know what number of people of each demographic that I have as my friend. Because I don't really care. Because if you're my friend, you're just my friend. I don't care what your demographic is, and I don't care what number of any demographic that I have as friends. And it has never occurred to me to not be friendly and awesome with everybody that I meet. Because that's what I want people to take from me. I want people just to go up to me and just be themselves so I can be myself. And I'm going to tell you a story about my recent trip. Oh, I got to lower the camera now. So I'm going to tell you a really quick story about my trip. I cruised down to a restaurant that I found on Yelp that was the highest rated restaurant in the area. I go into this restaurant with my friends, and we are the only demographic in the entire restaurant, which is absolutely packed, that are white people. And I'm just going to say this. I went to the restaurant because Yelp reviewed the highest that Yelp review had. And that's why I went to that restaurant. And it was absolutely amazing to me because the parking lot was full, that when I went in there were no white people. None. But you know what I did notice on the way through the parking lot to this restaurant that turned out to be unbelievably awesome? That on the other side of the parking lot, there was a seafood restaurant. Okay, so they're both seafood restaurants. Let's get that straight. There are two seafood restaurants in the same parking lot, which is a large strip mall type place. You've seen them. They got really upscale stores. They've got the Belks and the Marshalls and all of the stores that you would ever want. But there's two restaurants on opposite sides of the parking lot. I went to the best one. And you know what? We were the only white people inside of this restaurant. And it was utterly fantastic. And you know what? On the other side of the parking lot, there were nothing but white people in the parking lot coming and going from the other restaurant. So if both restaurants had awesome food, should not the demographic makeup of the customers of the restaurants be equal? I'm just asking. I'm not asking for a friend. I'm just saying that in today's day and age, in an upscale mall, when I went out and there were two restaurants that were in the exact same neighborhood, that the racial and demographic makeup was absolutely 100% segregated. And that's a self-imposed segregation, because there were all kinds of cars in the parking lot. The cars were identical. The income level was identical. Everything was identical except where people went to eat. And I'm going to tell you right now, the food was delicious. It was awesome. The atmosphere, absolutely kicking. The company was fabulous, and the beer was cold. And you cannot beat that in a combination. So although we have this policy, public policy has kind of fixed the country, it doesn't mean that we are all accepting and that we are all good people and that we all have the best of intentions. So that's what I would like to caution you about. Before anybody says that everything is fair and equal in the world, it might be fair and equal in the world, but we still have a ways to go in order to make sure that we're all comfortable with the idea that we are all in this together, and it is okay to not be so stuck on ourselves that we can't step over these boundaries that may be limiting in our mind. Because I'm going to tell you what, when I went to the restaurant, I saw the Yelp reviews, I read the Yelp reviews, I read it, and I was like, I want some of those crawfish that they have in there. And guess what I did? I had the crawfish, and it was delicious. And it was different, but it was still unbelievably awesome. And it's a shame that more people that are like me can't go in there or feel like they can't go in there and get some of these awesome crawdads. So, let's see what else we got. So, yeah, we're still a divided world. We're still a divided world. And the thing is about public policymakers, I think that public policymakers, yes, Mickey, that's some good eating. Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm telling you right now. I had good food wherever I went. And the amazing thing is that other than two exceptions, I could not tell the demographic race-based background of the owners of most of the places that I went. And I'm going to tell you, I had great service the entire time that I was out there. The people that were living in the South were humble and gracious and absolutely honest. And I'm going to tell you, I had a great time wherever I went because I enjoy wherever I go with the people who happen to be there. And I don't care what any demographic or racial makeup that anybody happens to be. Absolutely love it. So, anyway, let's see. So, and here's the thing about policy in the United States of America. The policymakers do not do a great job considering the average day person in America. We are the last idea that our policymakers have in order to make our life better. They really don't consider the simple fact that middle America gets blown away by the policies that they make, and they think that they can throw money at us and solve these problems. But here's what the thing is. We're worried about gas and groceries. We're worried about our mortgages and our bank accounts. We're worried about our kids having clothes on their back and food in their bellies. And it doesn't matter what your racial background is. It doesn't matter what your demographic is. It doesn't matter whether you're a man, a woman, a trans, gay. It doesn't matter whether you're old or young. That's what we're concerned with. And our politicians are failing us because they don't listen to us. I watched a video the other day about the difference. It was based on Yale, Yale University. I don't know, whatever Yale is, right? A study that they did, and the whole idea behind this concept was, what do the people want and what do the people get? And the video basically said that it doesn't matter whether public approves or disapproves of an idea. It has a 30% chance of being approved whether the public, which is us, like it or do not like it. And the idea behind that is the more money and influence that you have, the better chance that you have of getting your policy views implemented into law. So our politicians don't care what we think about any issue. And here's what I know. We need to stick together. We're all in this together. It doesn't matter whether I'm going to a restaurant, whether I'm going to a gas station, whether I'm going to a grocery store. It doesn't matter whether I'm going to a roadside stand. It doesn't matter where I'm going. We're all in this together as middle Americans. And we need to make our politicians listen to us. And they will not listen to us unless we call them. The problem is that most Americans are not politically engaged, and they don't care what's going on with the politicians because over time the politicians have worn them out by not doing what they say. And they are saying that, listen, it doesn't matter whether you're Republican, it doesn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican, Democrat, Republican, an independent. It does not matter what you think, so why should middle Americans pay attention to politics? Well, because that's what happened with gas, right? We didn't pay attention. We went and voted after not paying attention to what the candidates said, and now all of a sudden, no more drilling in ANWR, which is one of the largest oil-producing fields in the entire world. There's no more exploration and drilling on federal property on or offshore. There's no more construction of pipelines in the United States of America by the federal government. They will not subsidize them. They will not approve them to be built. The EPA will shut them down, if not the Commerce Department, if not everybody else that's out there. So, as a result of our politicians, us not paying attention and our politicians not paying attention to us, all of a sudden, they give us extra COVID money. They shut down pipelines. They shut down drilling. The economy starts spiking. We're the ones that do it. So the point of this tonight's show is to tell everybody that it doesn't matter what our demographic is. We are all in this together. We have to love one another, and we have to come together to discuss what is important to us as Americans and to us as family members and community members, because we're all in this together. Public policy affects every single member or every single citizen in the United States of America. And we got some smart people down here in the middle. We just need to have the smart people heard by our politicians. And as I experienced my mini adventure through the South the last 10 days, I see really, really good things out there, but I also see a lot of need to go out and work on us as a nation and as a citizenry. So, without further ado, I'm out of here. So that's going to be the show for tonight. Remember, like, share, hit the notification bell. Remember, I love you. Thank you very much for your comments. I greatly appreciate that. I will work on the sound again. The sound was horrible last week. 2 weeks ago, it was horrible. But I will work on the sound again. I will try to get that under control. I thought it was under control. Thanks for your... so anyway, remember... if you get a chance to get down to New Iberia, they have these little things called Tabasco. And this is a little red Tabasco. This right here is a little green Tabasco. I got those when I signed in to go to the Tabasco factory. And then they give you this cute little Air Force Tabasco. Isn't that the cutest little thing? Yeah, there it is. So, I don't know why it's not clear. All right, so anyway. So if you get down to New Iberia, Louisiana, go down there and see them at the Tabasco factory. So without that said, tomorrow I will be specifically talking about gas and the prices of gas and why public policy affects the number of gas that you're paying at the gas price. It's not a simple question. It is a simple question of economics and basic economics, because everybody knows that I do not believe in modern monetary policy. I do not believe in Keynesian economics. I don't believe in trickle-down economics. Economics is just economics, and money is just money. That is true. So it doesn't matter what all these college professors say. It doesn't say what all these smart people say. The simple fact of the matter, I'm going to save that for tomorrow, because I'm about to go off on our politicians and the people that are with the Fed and the people that are making monetary policy in the United States of America, because they are screwing us, and I'm not going to put up with it anymore. So anyway, I will see you tomorrow night. Remember, Mickey in the Middle, 9 p.m. Central, right here, wherever I am, right there, wherever you are. Remember, America, I love you. Embrace your middleness. We need you. And without further ado, good night, small one. I love you. See you later. Bye-bye. Adios.